Okay guys, welcome back. Go ahead and fold our paper into 4. Okay, so what is a rate? Let's go ahead and break down. Remember, a rate is when we compare two things. Normally when you see a rate, it is with a proportion. Okay, our next question is, what is rate of change? Remember, that is the m in your equation y equals mx plus b. That is the same equation that's on your reference charts. So your slope-intercept form. Okay, but rate of change is just a fancy way of saying change over y over change over x. This is going to be your unit rate. Or this is going to be where they're talking about like an hourly amount that you get paid. It usually talks about, you see this as somewhere per, each, and every. Okay, and then the last one is, what does D equals RT? So this is that's a distance formula. So distance equals rate times time. This is a fancy way of saying that we're going to end up doing rate of change. Okay. So now let's go ahead and get started on our problems. You're going to see me more mark on here because you have a lot of tables and graphs, but you're going to still see me write out the keywords, okay? Okay, let me get my pen. All right, let's go ahead and get started. So the blue whale travels at a rate of 31 miles per hour. Which representation does not show the distance the blue whale travels at this rate? So we know that it's going to be 31 miles per hour. When I see that, I know it means, anytime I see per hour, I know that that means 1 hour. Okay? Again, we want to know what does not show. So we're looking for what is false. Okay. So it's for the first one, it says in 8 hours a blue whale travels 248 miles. Well, let's see. That's a proportion, so we know that 1 hour gets us 31 miles, and they want to know for 8 hours, right? So how do we get from 1 to 8? We multiply. 31 times 8, that's 8. 8 times 3 is 24. So this is true. So that's not going to be my answer. Okay, the next one. We know that for 1 hour, it's going to be 31 miles. Well, let's look for 2 hours. So how do I get from 1 to 2? I times it by 2. So 31 times 2 is 62. So we know that this one is false. So that is a correct answer, because we're looking for which one is not show. Okay. in 6 hours, the blue whale travels 155 miles. So let's do another proportion. So we have 1 hour is 31 miles. We want to know for 6 hours. Times it by 6, times it by 6. 31 times 6 is 186. Is 186 the same as 155? No. My next one is correct because this is my equation. And then this one is correct as well because 1 hour is 31 miles, for 2 hours 62, 3 is 93, and 4 would be 124. This is also true. So it would B and C are my answers. Okay, you are going to go ahead and pause your problems, and you're going to go ahead and solve them, and then you can go ahead and play this video to check your answers. Remember, you are still writing your keywords. You're still writing your keywords. So Ricardo is buying a bike. He will save $25 a month to buy the bike. Which table represents that? So think about it this way. We have our months. We have our money. So for 1 month is 25. 2 months should be 50. 3 months should be 75. 4 months should be 100. So let's look at this. 25, 50, 75. This one's right. This one is not because this should be 75, right? This one is not right because this should be 50, and then this one should be 75. And then this one's not right because this should be 25, 50, 75. My answer here is A. And which of these does not represent the distance a car travels that's going 50 miles per hour? So we know that we're going to do y equals 50x. Or we can use my distance formula, so that's distance equals 50 times t. So let's look at our answer choices again. We're looking for what's not true. So this one is true, so it cannot be my answer. So let's look at B. 3 hours a car will travel a distance of 200. So we know for 1 hour it's 50 miles, but I want to know for 3 hours. So I'm going to multiply it by 3, multiply it by 3. 50 times 3 is 150. Is that the same? No. So this could be my answer because, again, it says what's not true. Let's see. For C, this is correct and this is correct. But let's try it for 1.5. That's 0, that's 25. Placeholder, that's 0, 5. 0, 5, 7. Yep, that's correct. And then let's see. I can't really tell what this is. This was a bad graph. Sorry, you guys, but I'm just going to, because I can't read it, I'm just going to use my best judgment. And I'm going to say my answer is B because this and this did not match. Okay. Which, of course, we would go to the next one that is a graph, right? Okay, let's see. An artist is making a scale model of a statue. On the model, 4 inches represent 1 foot. Which graph best represents the relationship? Okay, I'm trying to read what it has. So I know that this is going to be inches and this is going to be feet. So if I have 4 inches, it's going to be 1 foot. If I have 8 inches, that's going to be another 2 feet. If I have 12 inches, I know that's going to be 3 feet. So this is my X and this is my Y. So wherever I see 4, I should see 1. Okay, where I see 8, I should see 2. So if I look at B, B cannot be my answer because if I have 4 inches, I should have 1 foot, and they didn't go that way. If I look at A, from what I can tell, I have 4 inches, that looks like it's 1. But if I have 8 inches, I should have 2 feet. If I look, it's not 2. I think that's 8. That's not going to be my answer. For this one, 4 inches is 1 foot. So 8 inches is 2. That's correct. 12 inches is, I think that's 3. All right. And then if I look here, they're going by tens here. And so my answer here was C. Okay, the graph represents the linear relationship between the number of books Felicia has read and the number of months she has been a member of the book club. Which statement is supported by the rate of change? Okay. So we know my rate of change, anytime I see a graph, I want to make a table. We know that it starts at 0, 0. And I'm going to look anywhere that it crosses at. It crosses here, so that's 3, 2. It crosses here at 6, 4. Okay, so how do I get from 2 to 4? I add 2. How do I get from 3 to 6? I add 3. So remember, constant rate of change is change over y over change over x. So I'm going to have 2 over 3. And so this was my months, and this was my books. So let's keep that in mind when we look at our answer choices. So again, this was months, and this is books. Felicia reads 4 books in the first 3 months. Nope, because we used 2 and 3, right? Looking at B, Felicia read 2 books in the first 3 months. That's correct, because we have 2 books in 3 months. Felicia reads 3 books in the first 2 months. They switched up those numbers, so that one cannot be it. Felicia read 3 books in 4 months. So my answer is B. A sea turtle travels through the water at a speed of 35 kilometers per hour. Which representation shows the distance a sea turtle can travel at this rate? So we know that it's 35 kilometers in 1 hour because it says per hour. We also know if we were given an equation, we should have y equals 35x or distance equals 35t. So let's look. We know that A cannot be my answer because look, they're adding here and multiplying here. Okay, if I look at B, 2 times 35 gets me 70. That's correct. But what if I did 4 times 35? That's 20, carrying my 2. 4 times 3 is 12, plus 2 is 14. That works. And then let's try 35 times 6. That's 30, carrying my 3. 6 times 3 is 18, plus 3 is 21. That's correct. Okay. Let's see. 5 hours a sea turtle can travel is 185 kilometers. So let's see. I know that for 1 hour, I have 35 kilometers, and I want to know for 5 hours, how do I get from 1 to 5? I times 5. So I'm going to do 35 times 5. 5 times 5 is 25, carry my 2. 5 times 3 is 15, plus 2 is 17. Ah, not the same. So that's not going to be it. And I know I need 1 and 35. So if I look, this should be hours, and this should be the miles. So I should have 1, 2, 3, 4 on the bottom, and then I should have it by 35s at the top. But I don't have that. So my answer is B. Last one, a dolphin travels through the water at a speed of 25 kilometers per hour. So again, I'm going to have distance equals 25t, or it's going to be y equals 25x. Because we know that 25 kilometers is going to equal to 1 hour. Okay, they want to know which one shows this. So if I look at this table, we know that for 1 hour it's going to be 25, 2 is 50, 3 is 150, 4 is 100, 5 would be 150, or I'm sorry, 125, 6 would be 150, and 8 would be 2. This is correct. All right, let's look at B. B says plus 25. That's not my answer because I multiplied. If I look at C, look at your bottom numbers and along the y-axis and the x-axis. These should be 1, 2, 3, 4. This should be by 25s. So C cannot be my answer. And then D says for 5 hours a dolphin can travel 135 miles. Well, let's see. If I have 1 hour and 25 kilometers, and I need to go 5 hours. How do I get from 1 to 5? I times it by 5. 25 times 5 gets me 125. That's not my answer. My answer is A. Guys, I'm sorry if it's splotchy. I can't really do anything about it because it doesn't show up like that on my screen. But I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you later. Bye.